It's going to be very different, and some of these trends are continuing. First of all, we're going to see more countries in the world with a failed state. I also believe the world is going to be older in 10 years from now. And this is going to have major implications for companies, major implications for governments, for pension systems. And then the third big change is going to be emerging market multinationals.
One of the biggest trends that will be affecting pensions in the next decade is that of global aging. So the biggest challenge for pensions over the next decade, and in fact over the next 50 years, I think, will be to try to collect enough assets, invest them successfully enough, and help people draw down those assets to be able to support a decent retirement.
Well, the biggest trend in the developed world is an aging workforce. Now, an aging workforce is not a bad thing, but the biggest trend is for people to live much longer. And the evidence is all very powerful that people want to keep working longer. They may need to financially.
The shape of the world is obviously going to be tipping in the direction of some of these developing economies, India and China above all, but you've got to count Brazil in, you've got to look at Russia, have to look at Vietnam. Year 2020, think about it this way, their economies are going to be at least double what they are now.
Well, it's pretty clear that the balance of both economic and financial power has shifted decisively toward Asia.
In fact, that since we are talking about 2020, I would go out on a limb and predicting that China will have 20 brands in the top 100 global brands, and the US will have 20.
The scenario, which is the one that we don't like to think about, is that things may get worse. We may have a lot of problems in Europe because of the budget deficits and the austerity plans there. And it's only a matter of time before that comes to the US. I think it may well be a very austere time 10 years from now, because we'll be paying down all the money that we're currently going out and borrowing.
My greatest fear is that business schools in 2020 look the same as they do in 2010. And I think that's a realistic fear because there's a natural conservatism, and business schools do many things extraordinarily well. But that would be dangerous because the ground is shifting beneath our feet.
So for business schools, they need to embrace technology, but they don't necessarily want to bet the farm on any one kind of technology. So right now, for all business schools, it's the race to the iPad. And we're going to look back at that 10 years from now, and it's going to seem totally antiquated.
I think going forward, as the market in places like China for high-level EMBA education develops, that we leverage this in a couple of ways. I know there's discussion on the faculty, and I think great support on the faculty for Wharton's launching, what do we call it, Gemba Global EMBA program, which would be like a movable feast.
We've done a lot at the Wharton School right now in innovating our curriculum, but there's a lot more that we could do. It's not easy to change the footprint of something like curriculum and what the basic offerings are.
There are a few things that are important for 2020. One of them is sensitizing students to different economic environments. So perhaps using more global immersion type experiences, such as, societal entrepreneurship, which is being taught in Africa for the first time by us.
We think that preparing people now to govern well, to lead effectively, to understand that people are a vital resource, all these somewhat more tangible skills are going to be needed for anybody's career in the world of 2020. And since our students coming out now are going to be out there for the next 35 years, we really have a sacred obligation to give them the foundation they're going to need for that different world we're sure to see in the next 10 years.